Let's have a property tour, shall we? Brian Lebo here with Lebo Luxury, a division of Luxury Estates International. And today we're out in the Southwest, and this home is so unique. You know, it looks nice in photos, it looks nice in general, but there's so many unique design aspects, and more importantly, the materials that have been used in this property truly requires a tremendous amount of explanation. Love this home, and I'm really excited to show off everything that was done because the fabrication and quality of this home is just unparalleled. So like we normally do, we're gonna start off in the kitchen. We're gonna talk about the flooring a little bit on the way. So the main floor of this entire property consists of 24 by 48 inch porcelain tile. Looks like concrete, really modern, really cool design aesthetic. But we're gonna talk about it as we enter individual rooms. There's a few fabrications that were done custom that I've never seen done before, and I think you're gonna absolutely go wild for it. Again, that's the theme of this property. What you may see as pedestrian is very incredible when we get underneath it all. So let's start off, like I said, in the kitchen. Let's talk about this island. So we have an 11-foot island that's made out of this beautiful book match quartzite. If you don't know, book match means that the natural stone comes from the same area, so they book match literally together. So you can see this wild design is perfectly lined up. Very expensive to accomplish, very beautiful. In fact, the owner sat on these slabs for 2 years before the installation. Now, modern architecture usually determines that we have to have a obligatory waterfall return edge, which we do have here, and it's very dramatic and very beautiful. But you will notice that on this side, we don't have it. And that's because there's some amazing features that I've never seen done. Now, the owner who built this home also owns a cabinet company, so he threw in the best of the best of the best. And again, I need to explain some of this to you. So first, when we talk about the cabinetry, probably on video and even in person, you would assume that these were TFL, thermally fused laminate, but this is actually made out of poplar and pure sheets. So this is all fabricated out of singular sheets of poplar wood. And when you start looking at the surfaces, like these drawer fronts, you'll notice that the grains perfectly line up. And that's because they all originated from that one singular sheet of poplar wood. Really cool. Now this is where things get really wild. So like I mentioned, we don't have a waterfall return on this side of the island, which seems a little odd, but that's because it hides a really cool feature. So if you squat down, you open up this hidden panel, and look, I'm not a chef, I'm certainly not a baker, but if you are, you're gonna go wild. So popping up is this neat little mixer table. So this clamps up, it is totally secure, and now you can utilize your mixing bowl. It's already plugged in, so you don't even have to worry about that, and you're good to go. And when you're done, you just pull on it, and then it gently goes right back into its receptacle, hidden out of sight. So awesome for our bakers out there. Love it. All right, let's come around here a little bit more. When we're talking about the cabinetry, again, you'll notice the cabinetry extends all the way to the ceiling. We have that beautiful grain, exceptional. Now I skipped over a couple things here. Let's talk about the counter surface. So while I just explained the quartzite counter surface on the island, this is where things get really unique. So to the naked eye, this just looks like a basic quartz counter surface, except for it has this incredible sheen to it that no quartz can possibly replicate. And that's because this is made out of Decton. Decton is crushed up, micronized pieces of glass and quartz, and it basically is like indestructible. A lot of times you use this in outdoor applications like outdoor kitchens, but what's awesome is it's completely heat resistant. You could take a blowtorch to this and scramble eggs on it. You can write with a Sharpie pen, take it right off with acetone, and do no damage to the surface. Really neat, and again, in residential applications, you will never see this inside a dwelling. Again, in a custom application, maybe outside in the outdoor kitchen area. Over here, we have our pantry, a nice large size pantry. We got our built-in Electrolux refrigeration, 50-50 split, perfect. But let's get back to the island, because you guys know what's coming. You know what time it is. So yes, we have a nice Undermount Blanco sink, beautiful fixtures, but look, you know, we're over $3 million, and you know the rule, that really isn't really a rule, but good to know. We do have 2 Gen Air dishwashers, so we got that covered. And if that wasn't enough, I know the other hot button topic is pot filler. Guess what? We got a pot filler. I'm telling you, this house is gonna check off all the boxes for the audience out there. We do have our pot filler, and then this is where things get really nice. So we do have our dual fuel Gen Air push-in professional series stove, and it's matched by the matching ventilation hood. So we have 2 ovens down here, and you're gonna see a little bit more as we proceed. Beautiful, beautiful glass mosaic tile, brick laid formation backsplash that extends past the ventilation hood up to the ceiling. Really amazing. Again, more of that decked-on counter surface. You're gonna see that in a few more places, like in a few bathrooms. Then as we come down a little bit farther, here we have a little bit more. So here we have our Gen Air built-in microwave oven, and we have our 3rd built-in oven. So you have 2 in the push-in professional stove, and then 1 here. And at the very bottom, we have our Gen Air warming drawer. So an absolute perfect kitchen. And I love, we have a perfect plane of sight. So in the kitchen from the sink, it is perfect line of sight to the television. So the man brain is more than satisfied. Love, love, love that. Oh, forgot. Drew's telling me I messed up. So again, there's a ton of really cool cabinet features. One, you can see when we pull out, we have perfect organization for all of your like spatulas and spoons, etc. But this I thought was cool. Look, I'm not really affected by height. I'm 6'1" barefoot. I can reach things, but usually my partners are pretty short. So this is kind of neat. So like you normally see in custom closets, we do have pull down shelves. So here you can easily pull this down and other people can reach them. So really, really neat. I might not be able to get this back up. Ah, there we go. Got to pull down to pull up. But unbelievable cabinetry. Love, love, love. All right, let's go a little bit further. As we come down here, we get to the breakfast nook area. So perfect breakfast nook. We have this massive, massive picture window that leads to the view of the backyard, which of course we're going to see in a moment. And then over here, we have another drop zone area. So you can put your serving dishes or whatever you want near the breakfast nook dining table. Now, this is where things get really, really cool. So over here, this goes into, let's say, the movie theater, the game room, however you want to utilize it, maybe a flex room, if you will. But this is where we're going to talk about flooring. So this is the first transition where we go from 24 by 48 inch porcelain tile into this hexagonal tile. So a little bit more fun, really neat. Could look a little weird when you transition from 2 completely different sizes. And that's why the owner installed a schluter. So schluter is usually used for edges if you're doing a media wall, shower surrounds, just so you don't see the naked tile edge. But here they laid it down flat and it creates a really elegant, beautiful transition between the flooring types. Really cool. All right, so check out this game room. Massive, massive game room. We have these very thick glass doors that keeps the sound isolated. So you can go to town in here, make all the noise you want, and you're not disrupting the main area of the dwelling. Behind these blinds here, we do have a full slider that leads to the backyard. So you got great ingress, egress if you're having a party or if the weather's just perfect. But this I want you guys to check out. So this immediately stood out, and I think this is one of the coolest textures, materials, however you want to put it, that I've ever seen. So this is actually a crocodile quartz counter surface. I personally have not seen this done, and this is just wild. So yes, this looks like a crocodile print. I believe it's laser etched to create this. Don't quote me, but I'm just presuming that's how they fabricated this. Really cool, waterfall return, just one of the coolest things I've ever seen. And as you come over this direction, you can see that he also decided to fabricate this countertop. So you also have this countertop with the matching crocodile quartz. Just cool. But check out this, the main viewing area. So as we come down a little bit farther, you do have this massive wall. So if you wanted to make this a proper movie theater, we could black out everything. You could easily have a 200-inch screen. This wall is so massive. So massive that you actually have a 5-screen array. These are probably about 65-inch televisions, and then you got an 85-inch TV here. You can even rip this out and have a 100-inch TV and not even touch the ancillary TVs on the side. But again, What a cool game room. And what I personally love about it is the fact that a lot of times when we have movie theaters and game rooms, they're across the house. What's great about this is it's literally on the backside of the kitchen. So if you wanted to just grab a real drink real quick, it's not a big deal to just pop right out and pop back in. Super cool. But let's talk about the actual family room. So the first thing you notice when you walk into the property or when you're in this space is this 20-foot slider. You gotta have this to have modern architecture. This leads us out to this massive covered patio, which we'll get to in a little bit when we get to the backyard. But now let's talk about this media wall. So the media wall is actually really cool when you get close enough to it to appreciate. So we have this veneer of tile, and it's a basket woven veneer, but it's actually made out of these metal tiles that are a little iridescent. So as cool as it looks from a distance, it improves as you get closer. And the edges and the fabrication of these mitered 45-degree edges, you have to truly be here to appreciate the high level of quality. Then of course, we have the matching poplar cabinetry that we had in the kitchen, and it's offset by this beautiful marble counter surface, one of my favorite surfaces. And I'm a man of symmetry. I love the fact that both sides are perfectly symmetrical. Now let's come over here. Let's talk about this dining area. So this is a massive space. Now the family room, this dining room, these are 14-foot high ceilings. The entire home vacillates between 14 feet all the way down to 10 feet. Now, you can tell this dining room table is massive because this actually seats, I believe, 12 people. So that gives you an idea of just how massive this actual space is. Really cool, right by the entry front door. Now let's come over here and talk about the full bar that we have. So once again, the first thing that you have to notice in person is this counter surface. The counter surface, once again, is that medium grade Decton. And again, it has this, it's so honed that it has such a unique sheen to it that's truly just like glass. In person, you just know there's something different going on. So on the back side here, same poplar cabinetry, same backsplash that coordinates with the kitchen, but here we have pellet ice, we have our undermount sink, and we have refrigeration. So really cool. All right, let's come down this direction a little bit farther and let's see what's going on down this hallway. So coming down this hallway, the first thing we're gonna get to is chef's kitchen, kind of, but this is more like the morning bar. So this is really cool. You're gonna see a little bit more later, but this is one of two built-in espresso makers. So we do have the Jenner package espresso maker. Below it, this is actually a steam oven. So if you're health conscious, you can rock those veggies right in here, knock them out. And then we have a little morning bar drop zone area. So if you want, like how he has displayed, some syrups or your sugars, etc., everything goes right there. All right, coming down here a little bit farther, we have a closet over here to our left. And then this is the half bath that's gonna serve all of your guests. So once again, we have that Schluter transition to a 12 by 24 inch porcelain tile. This is a little bit of a darker concrete look, really neat, but I absolutely love this vanity. So we have a high gloss white floating vanity, and then we have this beautiful pivot integrated sink, and it's fabricated out of this incredible marble, and this marble has been treated, so it's no longer porous, very safe, and will withstand the test of time. Now behind this door is a garage. Sometimes we show you the garage, sometimes we don't. Oh, we're gonna show you this one because this is unique in its own way. So the property has a 4-car garage, and it's actually two bay garages. So we're in the first 2-bay, behind me is the second 2-bay, and then later you're gonna see the massive 1,500 square foot RV garage. But you can clearly see that this garage has now been utilized as a gym, and it has HVAC built right in. You're good to go. Clearly, you can't be working out when it's 115 degrees outside. So this is neat. But when we pivot around this direction, you'll notice something kind of unique. Because this space has HVAC, the owner installed this complete overkill, but awesome very thick glass door partition. So this partitions this bay garage from the actual garage that you're going to utilize to park your vehicles. Clearly, if you wanted to use them both for vehicles, you could, but this allows you to have the HVAC just in the space and not be wasting it and traveling over to the other bay garage. All right, now that we've seen this, let's get back to where we started and let's check out a little bit more of the property. All right, so now here we are back in the main area. So this was our entry. So we have the double French doors for the front. And then here, once again, we have this beautiful, beautiful porcelain tile that looks kind of like a concrete, marble-ish treated look. And it's offset both ways, segregated by that Schluter system. And we have a 14-foot high ceiling height. So really, really cool. Now let's come down this direction. We do have a closet over here, coat closet, but let's check out this office. So just like the flooring that we just saw in the entry, we have the exact same flooring, which is so dramatic in this space. So here we have an executive office. We have the slider that leads out to the backyard. So if you wanted to take a call, get some fresh air, you have perfect ingress egress right out there. Great office. And you notice we came through those double doors, which is cool because we have another set of double doors. This leads us directly to the primary suite. So let's come down to the primary suite and check that out. So entering the primary suite, once again, we have double doors here. And now the difference is here we actually transition to this beautiful luxury carpet. This is really, really cool. Very shaggy, feels great underneath. Now, of course, we do have a slider that leads out to the backyard area. Really, really neat. 10-foot ceilings. We do have coffered ceilings with LED illumination. Really neat. Now, coming into the bathroom, here a little different. We no longer need that Schluter transition because the carpet creates that transition naturally for us. We do have our water closet over here to the left. And now let's check out a little bit more of what's going on in here. So, like I alluded to earlier, here is our second espresso maker. When I spoke to the owner, he said, look, I don't do anything in the morning until I first have my cup of joe. So literally, he gets out of bed, starts his brew, and then the day actually commences and starts. So really neat. Now, coming around, absolutely beautiful. We have that same Decton counter surface. Now we transition a little bit different cabinetry for the floating vanities, but I love this bathtub. So you'll notice the surround here. We have like the Carrera marble look porcelain tile. Really beautiful basket woven marble mosaic above it. And of course, we have our floating bathtub. So we have a modern rectangular bathtub. And what's cool is this also has a jacuzzi function. So you get a little bubbles in there and get your little G.I. Joe going. Really, really great. Coming around the other side, we have his side of the vanity with the same Decton and above mount sink. Coming into the shower, this is really beautiful. So once we step over the curb, we get into the shower pan, and this, I believe, composed of Skyfall marble, one of my favorite shower pan floors, and it has a little texture, so it's very non-slippery. And again, that Carrera marble porcelain, really cool. 2 shower heads, and we have a rainfall shower head. So that's absolutely wonderful. All right, now that we have seen the primary suite, let's go around the corner. Let's check out some of the secondary bedrooms. Okay, so before we actually get to these secondary bedrooms behind me, over here is the brains of the home. So the whole home is on a Control4 system, and here are housing for all of the components, so very dramatic. Now let's start checking out the bedrooms. So over here, we do have double doors that lead into this bedroom. So this could be used as a bedroom. Currently, this is kind of like the kids' game room, but it does have a closet, and you even have a slider with its own private balcony out there, which is also accessible from another bedroom that we're gonna see in a moment. Now, coming down the hallway, I don't know why, I love this bedroom. I wanna say this is where you put the kid you like the most, but this is awesome. So you can tell this is just a massive secondary bedroom, almost twice the size of a normal secondary. And part of what makes this feel so cavernous is the fact that this bedroom has 14-foot high ceilings. So it's really, really dramatic the moment you walk into this room. Coming down the hallway a little bit farther, now we start to get to the laundry room. So This is the one place where we have some different cabinetry all together. So in the laundry room, we have this beautiful, I believe, dove gray shaker style cabinetry, very contemporary and beautiful. And then here we have a leathered quartz counter surface. So really modern, really cool. Obviously we framed in the washer and dryer. And behind me, technically it's a closet. It's almost like half the size of a storage unit. You got tons of storage here in the laundry room. So really, really practical. Now we're gonna dip into this bathroom. This services a couple of the children's bedrooms. So in this bedroom, a little bit lower for the kids, we have more of a traditional quartz counter surface with some iridescent flecks in there. And then we have this beautiful cabinetry. So here we transition to the TFL thermally fused laminate cabinetry. And even here, all the faces have been created out of one single sheet of laminate. So you'll notice that all the wood grain is perfectly aligned, really, really neat. And we have a massive bathtub shower configuration for children and for fur babies. All right, now let's come down this direction. So once again, we have another transition, and this bedroom's a little bit more unique than what we've seen. So we go from like the modern look to a little bit more of like an Eastern country kind of feel. So we have the skeuomorphic flooring, meaning it's tile, but it looks like wood. Really kind of cool. Beautiful shutters everywhere. And we even have a French door that leads to that patio cover that I was talking about earlier. Now, if we back up a little bit, this is ensuite. So we come into the bathroom here, and it gets a little bit interesting here because we have a much different type of vanity, and we have a leathered marble counter surface. Very different, and I believe this is the only leathered marble in the entire property. And then over here, I'm wild about this shower. So again, the skeuomorphic look, we've got tile shower surround that looks like wood, and this is more of a rustic wood than the actual floor even. So really, really cool. And again, a little bit different in this space, totally different theme. Now, over here to the left, this is the last of the secondary bedrooms. And once again, we have a different flooring. Here we have this beautiful luxury carpet. We've got 10-foot high ceilings. We do have our closet. This is in the front of the property, and this is still a much larger secondary bedroom than you would normally find in most properties. So, man, you really do feel like king of the castle, or the princess of the castle, if you will. All right, now that we've seen the entire main dwelling, let's go to the back of the property. Let's check out this RV garage and then the casita before we finish up with this absolutely wild backyard. All right, guys, welcome to the RV garage. Was that a long walk or what? All right, now this is a massive RV garage. This can take a 50-foot diesel pusher. So check out how massive this is. It's actually about 1,500 square feet, and this is climate controlled. So, hey, if you want to put a basketball court, put in a pickle court, anything else you wanted to do, you can go for it. This also can easily accommodate 3 vehicles parked tandem. Hey, you could do 6 if you had lifts. So you easily could make this a 10-car garage type of situation. Now, even in this RV garage, you can tell that this guy owns a cabinet company, because here we have these high gloss, beautiful high-end cabinetry, and we even have quartz counter surfaces in the garage. Now that's something that you're never gonna see ever again. All right, now that we've seen the RV garage, follow me around the corner, because on the back side of the garage is the casita. All right, so here we are at the entrance of the casita, and even here you can see we have a frosted French door just to access into the dwelling. Now, coming inside, we have 10-foot high ceilings in the casita even, and we have distributed audio in a casita. Wild. So this here is set up as the family room, so you can see we have a display, we got the sofa array, and even in the kitchen, nothing was cheaped out. So we have beautiful quartz counter surfaces, and check out the cabinetry. Even in here, we have very high-end flat panel, beautiful poplar style cabinetry, just amazing for a casita. And honestly, this is more of like an apartment, if you will. So we do have our Blanco undermount sink. We do have another dishwasher. So technically this house has 3 dishwashers. What a deal, right? Stainless steel refrigerator. And this is really neat. This is currently being used as a closet, like just a typical closet, but this is actually plumbed for a stackable washer and dryer. So you can completely, fully live inside of this dwelling. Awesome. Now coming into the bedroom, we have a closet over here to the right, perfect angle for the television and the bed. We've got some linear window array above us over here. And even when we get to the bathroom, even this is nice. We have that skeuomorphic tile that looks like wood. And even the shower, they made the shower curbless entry into, so ADA compliant if you have someone older in a wheelchair. Amazing. And this is in the Casita. Even the primary didn't have a curbless shower. All right, guys, now that we've seen the RV garage, we've seen the Casita, let's go back. Now let's unpack this incredible backyard. All right, guys, welcome to the backyard. So as we pass through the 20-foot slider, we come to this massive embedded patio cover, and just wonderful. So we do have recessed lighting, of course, ceiling fans. We have distributed audio, so you can hit your tunes outside. And what's even neat is over here, you'll notice on the wall, we do have electrical. We've got our Cat 6, so you can put a display and then transform this into an outdoor viewing area, which I know I would do. That would be a great and a perfect way to appreciate this incredible, absurdly ridiculous backyard. I mean, just look at this. In front of us, this massive field of artificial turf. I mean, this is literally like a football field that we have in front of us. Even these planters that you're gonna see, all these planters have been sheathed with this quartz stone veneer, very expensive. You're not gonna see this in many outdoor planter arrays. Now, coming over here in this direction, I mean, you can see we've got views of Las Vegas Boulevard, we've got partial strip views out here. Absolutely, completely private. The lot next to us over here cannot ever be developed. It's owned by the actual government and it's under aviation control, so no development there. Very difficult to own the private property that's behind us. We'll leave it there. But even this area, we have a massive, massive area, all tiled with that beautiful porcelain tile. So you could build a structure here if you wanted, maybe a pool house, whatever your heart desires. But even check out this area. So while we have the main pool above, spilling off of that infinity edge, we come into this reflection pool, this wading pool, and we've got these dramatic water features. So we've got fountains, we've got these pop-ups, and at night we have beautiful array of LED lighting. We've got fire features. At night, this place transforms into something completely different and absolutely wild. Now over here, you can see this structure is what we saw before. This is the actual casita that we just saw. But this is something you are not likely to ever replicate again. So over here, we have a 7-hole miniature golf course intersected with all of these crazy palm trees. I mean, literally, you have a Scandia in your backyard on top of everything else. If this isn't the ultimate party house, I don't know what is. Amazing. Outdoor shower right here. And then as we step up into this space, now we get to the main pool. So this is all framed in by 7 beautiful date palm trees. Again, this feels like you're staying at a resort, not a normal residential domicile. So we have a massive pool. This pool is so large, technically you can't even build it because the current regulation is 600 surface feet. So that basically is the reflection pool. Forget about this pool. That's about all you can build. So if you wanted to replicate this, you'll never be able to replicate it again, unfortunately. But again, we have these beautiful water features. We have our elevated jacuzzi, and we even have a fire pit adjacent to the jacuzzi. So Guys, I don't know, this is one of the most spectacular homes, especially for the price. You've got no HOA, you have no rules, you have absolute privacy, and you even have room to grow on this property if you needed to. So again, this is one of my favorite properties. I always read your comments and I'm dying to hear what you guys have to say about this. So special thanks to Nate Strager for allowing me to film this property. And if you're interested in luxury real estate, traditional real estate, if you want a private tour of this home, all of my contact information is in the description below. But until then, please like the video, please subscribe, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Deuces.